that evaluates a value. So based on the specified operands, that's what important you have to know. So actually, technically, operator means it's an object. That object evaluates a value. So based on the specified operands. So operands, that means you will have like some x plus y. So this is operand 1. This is actually, we say, left operand and right operand. And it evaluates a value. So it evaluates a value. So generally, it returns one value. This operator returns a value. Based on what type of value it returns, actually, the operators are classified into several types. Actually, in JavaScript, the operators are categorized into different types based on what kind of value they return. So generally, what are all the various types of operators available? I will just give you a point here. So let's say JavaScript operators, and how do we work with them, right? JavaScript operators. Okay. First point, operator is an object that evaluates a value. That is the first one. Is an object that evaluates a value. And JavaScript operators are classified into several types. Following types. Actually, we have assignment operators. We have comparison operators. We have arithmetic operators. So we have bitwise operators. We have logical operators. So we have string operators. We have conditional or ternary operator. We have comma operator. So we have unary operators. We have relational operators. These are all the different categories of operators. So generally, the operators are categorized into various. We will see occasionally situation-wise different operators, how we can work with them and how we can deal. So generally, no need to discuss about the order according to the order. Actually, what I given is the preceding order. That means first priority is assignment, then comparison, then arithmetic, then bitwise. That is the order actually. According to the precedence order, I written. But we use according to the situation, how we can deal with the operators and work with them. Generally, so what are the operators for different purpose? Majority of operators, few we already know. but some additional things we have to learn. Suppose if I take to the arithmetic operators, that means suppose arithmetic operators, arithmetic operators. What is the concept of arithmetic operator is nothing but, so arithmetic operators takes and returns a numeric value. Take and returns a numeric value. Arithmetic return a number value. That is arithmetic operator. And we have so many arithmetic operators. Generally, the arithmetic operators that we have, I will just give you for your guidance a list here. So arithmetic operator, we have like some operator and purpose. So now we are configuring here arithmetic operators. Yeah. General, some new operators added into this actually. So one is arithmetic operators, plus, that is addition, and minus, that is subtraction, and yeah. Next we have subtraction again. Next we have asterisk, this is for multiplication, and slash, this is for division, and percent, so this is for modulus. That means we call modulus, that means remainder. So modulus is modulus. Modulus. So, or we can call, say, remainder. We can call that as remainder. And we have another operator actually. Some new operator is there, double asterisk actually. This is newly added into JavaScript from ES5 onwards. It is actually exponent operator. And we have plus, this is increment, and minus, that is decrement. These are all arithmetic operators. So we have the arithmetic operators, decrement, increment. So generally operators are used for different functionalities. All these addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, general things we already know. Modulus, division, remainder value. Exponent is new here. So exponent is nothing but, suppose I say 2 double asterisk 3. That means actually it is 2 to the power of 3. Earlier, this is actual new option. In old, we need to write math.pow and 2, 3 like this. So the result will be same. That means 2 to the power of 3, it will be 8. Here also it will be 8. So that is how we can configure. That is the new operator we are having and defining this. Yeah. So we have these operators, configuring all these operators and defining. Next, how to implement them in various examples. I will give you one exercise, one small point. That means general operations are very common. Additionally, some new things you have to learn here is, suppose I said, values. So we generally call as increment. This is for increment. Increment and decrement. For increment and decrement, suppose var x is equal to some 10, where y is equal to x plus plus. We written like that. So this is called as post increment. Increment. If I written where y is equal to plus plus x, this is called pre-increment. In this, actually increment is nothing but, so generally the value x equal to x plus 1. So similarly here also x plus 1. But what is difference between pre and post increment? That is the point we need to understand. Both are same, but what is the technique of pre and post increment? Actually, so the post increment is nothing but, suppose I'm giving here increment. Yeah, let's write a script here. Doc type HTML head and title. And here, so simply first I will give you some basic function so that you can understand. Now here I am writing where x equal to 10, where y is equal to x plus plus. Document dot write, I am printing the value of x is equal to what x is, and in the next line the y is equal to the y is. So that is one option we are configuring and write. Now generally this is post increment. So what will be the value of x and y when I print here? What do you say? What will be the value of x and y finally? What will be the value of x and y finally? So actually here the point you need to understand is the x value is post incrementing here. When you are using post increment, what happens is first this x value will be applied to y. X value will be first applied to y. That means what is the value of y? X value is first applied to y. After that incrementation will happen. Understood? After that incrementation will happen. X value is assigned to y. After that incrementation will happen. After that incrementation will be happening. That means x value is first applied to y. That means y value how much? Y value how much? 10. After that x value will be incremented and stored in x. That is the basic. That is post increment. So that is post increment. In that case, so y will be 10, x will be 11. That is the concept. If it is pre-increment, so it will first increment and then assign. It will increment and then assign. Then what will be the value of x and y? It will increment and assign. Then what will be the value of x and y? Both value will be 11. So that is, basically how we manage. That is increment, pre and post increment. Similarly, we have decrement. That means, so here, if I define that, so suppose where same, suppose I defined where y is equal to x minus minus. This is post decrement. That means x equal to x minus 1. It is post decrement. So similarly, so minus x, that is pre-decrement. So that is also same, x equal to x minus 1. But the point here is, suppose if I say minus x, what is the value of x and y now? What is the value of x and y? Decrement, no? Decrement means x minus 1, that means 10 minus 1, that is 9. So both will be 9, right? Good. And if it is x minus, then what will be the value of x? Y value will be 9, y value will be 10, x value will be 9. Understood? Yeah. X value will be 9 and y value will be 10. Right. I hope you understood that, right? So that is incrementation, how you can increment and configure the values and define. That is the basic option for incrementations. So this is how generally we define the arithmetic: addition, subtraction, multiplication, divisions. Depending on the requirement, we define and use them. For example, I will give you one task. You try to do that. One small task I will give you. So you have to try to achieve that task. So based on these arithmetic operations. So what is the task is, you have to design a simple EMI calculator. So that is your task. Now for EMI calculation, you can search the formula. Online, you will find the formulas. You can search the formula. Right. So you can, I will show you one small example. Suppose we have HDFC Bank. This is HDFC Bank site. In this HDFC Bank, you can see you will have at the bottom some calculators are there. Personal loan calculator. And this is the personal loan calculator. And you see, this is the loan calculator. You must able to design this screen. You must able to design the screen which should calculate the EMI. You should able to design this screen. So here the concept is, when I slide this, it will change that number inside that. This slider is nothing but you have these kind of sliders. We have input type range. You can use input type range and you can get this slider. Right. Now, generally, the value when you are changing, it can be stored inside that. So while defining, you can change that. You can configure that. So here user can change the years. User can change the interest rate. And click on calculate. And here the result should come. Monthly EMI, how much they have to pay. This screen you have to design. So that is the screen you have to design. So that is the screen you have to create. That means user should able to change, and on the calculate click, it must present it. So this is the task for you. That is the task for you. I'm uploading the screenshot here. This is the EMI calculator. First, I will give you some points how you can get the values and all. So for that, you generally EMI formulas you will find in the websites. You can Google, right? So EMI formula. So you can get the EMI formula. This is the EMI formula. So this is the EMI formula. So that is the screenshot. I have that. So I suppose I will copy this image. This is the formula you have to implement there. This is the formula you need to implement. That means actually, I will give you in a more simple way. This looks complicated for you because, yeah. So here I will give a simple formula. That means in our JavaScript, how to write, I will give a simple formula here. Suppose already we have that example, some example. So some HTML class example, yeah. But that example is designed with general text boxes, and this is the formula. You have to use this formula. You can try this now. This is the formula. So I will give the formula here. That is the formula. Payment, how much they have to pay every month depends on this. Principal is nothing but, so the amount you need. Principal is nothing but amount you need. This value you should get here. So that is the option. So for example, I will copy here the screenshot. Okay. And here I will copy this formula. Okay. And I'm giving just roughly. This is the option. Yeah. And what you have to do is here the implementation of the values. See, actually in this, the payment, that is payment is EMI. This is the amount you have to get. That's the amount you have to get. So principal is nothing but the principal is the amount here. This is the principal amount. That means the value of that particular text box you need to collect. Interest you have to collect from here. The value you have to collect from here, interest. And monthly interest, that is, and this is the rest of your formula. And months you have to get from tenure in years. So years, you know that. So if it is 4 years, so we have to define, so 12. So 1 year means 1 year, you know, is 12 months. So that means you have to calculate in months. You need to get that in months. User will select in year, but you have to convert that into months. If user selects, so 1 into 12, 2 into 12, that is like that, the multiply, you will get that. So that means now this, when user clicks calculate button, that value should come and display here. So this is the formula you have to implement. Here all just basic arithmetic operations only we have. That is the option you have to achieve. So I will give here that diagram also. What I designed, yeah. So this is your task. This is your task. So can you try this? What do you say? Can you try this task? Yeah. Is there anything difficulty to understand in this concept, I will save this EMI. Into our classroom, I am uploading. This is our class. Yeah. I am uploading here. I will upload as an assignment. Okay. EMI calculator. You need to design an EMI calculator, and that screenshot I am uploading here. So this is the task you have to do and submit the task. So what do you say, everyone? Can I expect this by tomorrow from you? Right? Yeah. So some points I will show you here. Suppose generally I will give here doc type HTML head, and the title is sample. Some link I am giving here, link. So link relation is equal to style sheet. href is equal to node modules bootstrap dist css bootstrap.css. And here we have the body, and just we will put div container, and here I am writing some, just for your help I am giving you some point, right? So we have input type is equal to text, so size is equal to some 4 or some, so 6, like this. Okay, and here we have in the next line I just given as input type is equal to range. So class is equal to form range. Okay, and here I have an ID as txt, yeah, range amount. That is, range amount is the ID. Actually, that looks in this way. So where is it? That looks in this way. We need to run that here. And that is the range. So I say W class some 25. Now you put your design and all. So here the value is min is equal to 1000. So max is equal to suppose some 5 lakh or something, and value is equal to default, it is 1000. So it looks like this here. Now when user is moving this, I want that value to be here. So ID is equal to txt amount. So it's very simple. Here we have to define the option is on change, and we need to configure that. So get amount, and we'll write a function here, script. The function is get amount, and here we need to get the value of slider and apply to that. Document dot get element by ID txt amount dot value is equal to document get element by ID range amount dot value. That's how we need to manage range amount dot value. Now I configured that. So, and you see here now what happens is, by default you can put some value. That means the amount value so is like some 1000. So by default you can put some value into it. And when I am scrolling here, so that value will come here. So the value will be displayed here. We need to keep the value here. Actually, this can be a text box because user can enter the value in text box, or if you want to just show, you can put in a div. You can display in a div also. But here, the value must be displayed there. Now, when user selects the value and defines the value and configures the content and submits, on submit click, we need to collect all the details and store in payment. And that payment must be displayed here somewhere bottom. Your EMI will be this much. That's how we want. So, and remember here, whatever the values you are configuring and specifying, the value will be displayed. So you use your input groups and all and define them, because already we know how to use input group. So how we can put symbols. So that means I said a div. So class as an input group. And here we have a span. So class as input group text. And here we have ampersand hash 8377. And beside that, we can put this text box. And it will be in this way. So how much value it is. So we are configuring the value. So, and so the class will be like form control, that is the text. And we have like this also W25. So some width adjusted. So the width should be for entire, not only for this control, because you kept here in the input group, W25. This is how you configure and define the value. Now when user changes this, so configured, even user changes this and submits the button, collect the value. But remember, whatever value you collected from text box will be in a string form. You need to convert that into numbers and handle it. I hope you understood the process. For your help, I will just give you this sample code. It's not your program, just the sample code for that. Just for your help's sake, I am giving this sample code. Right. So that is one option. So what do you say? Everyone can try this? We'll try this, huh? Everyone? Right. Because only 2-3 people are giving answer. I will do one thing. Tomorrow, I will allow only the people who done the exercise into class. Others, we will block temporarily. What do you say? That will be great, right? Tomorrow, I will do one thing. I will allow the people, only the people who done the task, tried the task. Even you are facing problem, unable to do the task, that's okay, no problem. I will help you in that. And people who not done anything, we will not allow them into the class, okay? That is tomorrow's session, right? So let's see how many of you will submit by tomorrow, right? Yeah. So this is general. If you can do this, the basic arithmetic operations and all, depending on different situations. So we have it. Increments, decrements, conditions, everything similar. For example, let's take an example for increment, decrement, how do we manage? Suppose once another example for arithmetic operators to handle this increment, decrement. I will include this so link, so relation is equal to style sheet and href node modules bootstrap icons bootstrap icon.css. Okay, and here let's create a simple div and class as so margin top some 3, and here I am designing a div. Let's create the class, and here we will keep another div class as card header. Okay, and here I am adding a heading, so some heading. So here we will keep some details later. ID as LBL name, and we have another div, so the class as card body, and here we are having an image. So width is some 300, height also some 300. So that's empty. So, and card header text center, card body also text center. So that is the detail. Okay, and here we designed a div, so class as card footer, and here I added a button. So we added one button and with a span. Let's put a class as BI, and BI next we have so right, we have arrow right and arrow right circle. Okay, arrow left circle, we have circle, yeah, arrow left circle. Actually this looks like this, and in this, that is the arrow left cycle. Okay, and text center, and button I defined as class BTN and BTN outline danger, and we have another button beside it, and this is another button class right circle. So, and we have this, so left and right buttons, you can use any of them, right? And card, so W some 50, keep it short. Okay, and here we have text center, and here we have options like can give justify content center, align center, align items center. So let's keep that here. Okay, and by default display flex also we need to add deflex. Okay, that keeps the center and option. Yeah, now we have to keep this now changing image. Suppose I will keep 75, fine. Okay, this is width some 400, fine. That's the image. What we want is we want to just display image height width. So I will give instead of that, let's keep a class here. So class is W100 and height is 300. That will be okay. Fine. Now we need to display some images. So what we will do is we will create So here script var products. Products is an array. And in this array, we have objects. So name, some JBL speaker. So price, you can put any images. So price, and we have a photo. And that is so from assets / some speaker.jpg. So we have another, so name, that is like some earpods, something. And the price and photo. So like this, we add some images and details, earpods.jpg. Let me copy this, and we have some images. So here we have Nike casuals, and we have like Lee boot, and we have like some shirt and some price. Okay, and one more, here we have some jeans and some price. Now actually I will keep this, so shoe.jpg, shoe1.jpg, and shirt.jpg, and the jeans.jpg. Now when I want to display this, you see image have an ID as some pic. Below that I put a paragraph. The ID is LBL price. Okay, so initially function body load. On body load, first we will create a function display photo, display product. Display product is expecting some index as a parameter. The function is expecting a value called index. Index as parameter. We will, that means whenever we call display product, we need to pass the index. Now what we have to do is, so document get element by ID, LBL name dot inner HTML. In that we have to access products of index dot name. That means products is an array. Into that, the index number that you passed, its name, and it should display in the label. Document get element by ID, LBL price dot inner HTML, products of index dot price, and document get element by ID, pic dot src. So products of index dot photo. Okay, that's it. Now on body load, we will call the display product. Into that I will pass 0. That means what it will do is, it will get the first product related details. That 0 will be passed into this index, and that 0 will be used everywhere. Now when I run this here, on body load, I need to get that. Now we have to write body on load is equal to body load. On body load, the first image will come. The details will display. In the price, here we are displaying price. So I will put a string ampersand hash 8377 semicolon plus. Just some price will be there. Now what should happen when I click on next button? The next product should come. Previous button, previous product should come. So we can handle that. So we have to define several icons will be there. Bootstrap icons will be there. That means we have icons. So icons get bootstrap. You can use them. So you see, these are all the options. Circle left, circle right. Arrow left square, arrow right square. Depend what you want. Now here, when I click this next button, so next button, so I want the next image to come. So then in the logic, so we have to just define for this first button. So the first button is actually, so let's check the first button. Yeah. For this first button is actually, so left circle. That means it is previous. It is next. So that means here we have to write on click is a previous click. Previous click. Here on click will be next click. Okay, so what we do now, we have to simply define here the function. First, I will declare a variable count is initially 0. Will be 0. Now count is 0, that is global variable. So function, so previous next click. On next click, we have to get the count plus plus. That means count will be incremented by 1 and it will be stored inside the count. Now we have to configure here as a display product. Into that we need to pass the count. Some more issues will be there. We have to address them. I will show you. So initially this is next. Now I create another function. So previous click. On that the count must decrement, come back, minus minus, and display product count. So that we have to define. Now usually what happens is when I click on the next product will come. The next product will come. So previous will come. So we can display that, the next and previous. You can add this anywhere. So this is basically the products. But what happens is after the genes, I click next. So it is not showing anything, no problem. But when I go to inspect, console have some error. It says that cannot read name, because when I click next button, one more error will come. Because it says that there is no product anymore. That is the last one. But the count is still going on, increasing. Then we have to handle them. So that is general problem, and it's a very common thing. We have to handle that. How we handle this? Actually, so we have to verify. So the count, length and the values we have to verify. That means we need to write a condition here. So if, so count is equal to, if is not equal to, so I defined like count is not equal or count is less than. So count is less than, I defined products dot length. If count is less than products dot length, then only the count increment should happen and this display should come. That means I don't want to increment continuously. So that means products length will return how many elements are there. If count is less than those elements, the number of elements, you will get one more option here. That means it should increment, otherwise it should not. That means here when I click the next button, it will goes on to the next button. And when I click on this, so it's showing error. Because actually, only one error only, because actually less than, because one problem is length is total number of elements. total number of elements, it will say, suppose 6. Total number of elements 6. But the index number is 5 only, because index number starts with 0. Length written 6, index number will be 5. Due to that, what happens, it will allow one more. You know that. So I can simply write if products is less than, so -1. Length -1. I am defining length -1. Next, 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 and next. It will not show any error. So that means it is not showing any error. That is good. Because length will return how many elements are present. But count actually starts with 0 index. Due to that, 0 to 5 means 6. But actually here 6 means one more will come. So length will be. That's the reason. So we need to handle the length -1. The same thing we have to use for previous. That means here we have to define the condition. So if count is greater than products dot length is greater than products dot length. So products dot length, so -1 suppose. Then count minus decrement and define. So it will be correct for handling this issue. That means I click on next. So and I click on previous. So here one more problem is there. We will see that problem. The previous is not coming. Why? Because, so one more option is because always it is checking the count only. So if count is greater than that. But actually, so we need, suppose I define count is greater than length. So what is the length number of characters? Observe here how to identify the problem. I will tell you. The previous not working because let's see how to identify the problem. I will show you that. Why? Because one more point is there. Suppose you identify the length here. So first alert. So we need to get products dot length. You see products dot length. So when I click previous, it says 6 is there. Products length is 6. If it is 6, then what should happen? So we should decrement minus. We need to apply for that. Previously what we done, count minus we given and display count, display product, into that we are passing the count. Now what happens here? So observe carefully, this is the next. And when I go to previous, the previous product is coming. After that, there is no previous. Then it is showing this. Actually, the point is here we don't need the length, because if it is less than 0, we have to write the condition. That means if count is less than 0. If count is less than 0 or greater than 0. If count is greater than 0, so then the counting decrement is happening. If it is so equal to 0 or less than 0, you can use less than or equal, because even 0 index will be there. So that means if count is greater than 0, so or equal to 0, then decrement will happen. Suppose I don't want to decrement if it is 0, then we don't need to use equal. That's how we define. We don't need length now. Now here we have the next and we have the previous, and it will not go previous from there. We can display some message also. That means suppose I can put an alert. So alert saying that no more items. No more items. That means if it is else, we have to display. So we can add the messages and display the messages. So here this condition is very important, because even if you don't write the condition, it will not show any problem in the UI, but logically some issue will be there. So we should not have those logical issues also. That's the reason we have to write these conditions and verify them. And here we are using the increment and decrement options. Increment and decrement. How we increment and how we decrement. We can do with any kind of control. It's not like only this left, right. We can use any kind of control. That means, for example, suppose here at the top in the header. So I'm keeping a div and input type is equal to range. And class is equal to form range. And min is equal to some. Those we can dynamically apply. Minimum how much, maximum how much. Min is equal to 0. Max is equal to some 5, like this I'm giving. This is the range. So input type range. And value I defined as 0. So value as 0. And here I am defining ID as, so range images, or say image range. So that is the ID. Now same, when I move this slider, I want the images to change. That's very simple this time. Why? Because we don't need any count also. We need a simple function. That means on change is equal to change image. Change image is the function. And here I am writing the function. And that is change image. Change image. And on that, first we have to get slider value. So slider value is document get element by ID. So we have range image range dot value. And we need to apply this to display product. Display product, so slider value. We have to define. We can also give the values dynamically. That is slider value. Actually, slider. Suppose I am writing slider. I am accessing only slider. I am accessing only the slider here. So not value. Now this will be slider dot value. What we can do is for this slider, whenever the page loads or defines, we can put some values for that. That means minimum, maximum, we can define dynamically. So image range, okay. Now you see when we are moving the slider value will be passed into display product. And when I pass this, then the image will be changing. I can move the slider also now. And I can get that images and display them. And these also will work now. These also will work. And very important, one more option is that you can do, see when I click next button, so slider is not changing. I want these buttons to be attached to the slider. That's your wish, right? What you can do is, now what you can do is on next click or previous click, on next click, we have to get the count value incrementing. So we need to, so if here count value is incrementing, here we need to access document get element by ID, image range dot value is equal to count value will be applied to that. The same we do on previous click also. That means what happens is the count value will be applied to slider value. So when you are moving this, the slider is also changing above. When you are moving this, slider is also changing above. And when you are moving the slider will also change. The next options, previous options, it's your wish. You can configure through that. You can handle both of that. But you have to be careful in writing the logic conditions, how you want to display them. That is generally applying the values and configuring the values and using the arithmetic operators here. This is a simple example of how we can use the arithmetic operators and handle them. Different types of operations. In several more examples, we will see. I will just show you another option of increment and decrement. This is just to show you increment and decrement. So how we manage them. And in various calculations and all, we use others. That is basically arithmetic operations. Similarly, now we have conditions, operations, how to handle with other types. We will see that. So that means other operations and these that we will discuss in the next session. So after I see your examples, then we will go with other operators. Okay. So tomorrow we will continue with that. So by tomorrow, finish your task and submit. Based on that, I will tell you some more exercises.